Springfield might look like a fun and colorful town, but behind the laughter and jokes hides a world of strange secrets, hidden clues, and unsolved mysteries. Today, we're going to uncover the dark side of the Simpsons mysteries, so strange that fans have been scratching their heads for decades. By the end of this video, you'll know the stories the show never explained. And maybe, just maybe, find the clues the writers left behind. The Simpsons has been making us laugh for over 3 decades, but in between the comedy, there are moments that feel off, hidden messages, odd coincidences, characters who vanish without explanation. It's as if Springfield has its own secret history we were never meant to fully understand. So today we re-putting on our detective hats and diving deep into the shadows of Springfield to explore the mysteries that the writers never solved or did and want us to solve. When you think of Springfield, certain characters stand out instantly. There's Homer with his chaos, Bart with his pranks, and of course Mr. Burns with his cold-hearted schemes. But right next to Mr. Burns, always lurking in the shadows, is Waylon Smithers. Loyal, soft-spoken, and seemingly devoted to his boss beyond all reason. At first glance, Smithers seems like a simple character, just the assistant to the richest man in town. But when you start digging into his past, things stop adding up. It's almost as if the writers intentionally left breadcrumbs for us, but never wanted us to find the whole loaf. Smithers first appeared in Season 1, and right away, his character raised questions. In one episode, we learn that Smithers' father once worked at the nuclear power plant and died under mysterious circumstances. The official story? He sacrificed himself to prevent a meltdown, a hero to some. But here's the thing, if his father was the only thing standing between Springfield and complete destruction, why does the show never revisit this story? It's as if this major, heroic moment in the town's history was brushed aside, buried under jokes, leaving us wondering what else is being hidden. And then there's Smithers' loyalty to Mr. Burns. We get it, Burns is his boss, he's rich, powerful, and the center of Smithers' universe. But Smithers goes beyond normal loyalty. He doesn't just work for Mr. Burns, he worships him, idolizes him, and in some episodes even dreams about him in, let's just say, unsettling ways. Could this devotion be tied to his father's death? Think about it. Mr. Burns owns the plant. Smithers' father dies there, and now the son grows up dedicating his entire life to the man indirectly linked to his father's tragic end. That doesn't sound like coincidence. That sounds like the kind of psychological twist the Simpsons writers love to hide in plain sight. But here's where things get even weirder. Over the decades, Smithers' background shifts in small but noticeable ways. Sometimes we see hints that he grew up poor, other times that he had a comfortable childhood. In one flashback, he's at college, seeming well-adjusted, while in another, his life seems lonely and isolated. Which one is real? The show never confirms it. It's almost like we're looking at different puzzle pieces from different boxes, forced together to make a picture that never quite fits. And let's not forget the nuclear power plant itself. This place is a goldmine of secrets. But one thing that stands out is how Mr. Burns seems to have files on everyone, blackmail material, personal details, everything. Yet, when it comes to Smithers, there's barely a paper trail. For a man obsessed with control, wouldn't Burns keep every detail about his right-hand man? Unless there's something there he doesn't want anyone to find. Fans have speculated for years that Smithers might know more about the plant and Springfield itself than anyone else. After all, he is the one running the day-to-day operations while Burns plots evil schemes and forgets his employees' names. Some even think Smithers could be covering up secrets about the plant. Things tied to his father's death, things the town was never told. Remember the multiple nuclear accidents, the glowing rats, the three-eyed fish? What if these weren't just jokes, but clues pointing to a larger mystery? And then there's the question of Smithers' personal life. We know he's loyal to Burns, maybe even in love with him, but outside of work, his life is a blank slate. No close friends, no family members dropping by, no old acquaintances showing up to tell embarrassing stories from his past. For a show that loves digging into character backstories like Moe's shady past or Grandpa, Simpsons' war stories, it's strange how little we actually know about Smithers. Almost as if the writers are keeping his history locked away, giving us just enough to stay curious, but never enough to connect the dots. What really makes this mystery fascinating is how The Simpsons sometimes breaks its own rules when it comes to Smithers. In early seasons, we see him as this quiet, efficient assistant. But then, there are moments where he seems to hold real power over Mr. Burns, even manipulating situations from the shadows. It's subtle, but there are times when you wonder who's really in control. Is Smithers just a loyal servant, or is he playing a longer, smarter game, one we've been too distracted by jokes to notice? The Simpsons has always thrived on ambiguity, and Smithers' past is a perfect example. We have fragments: a father's mysterious death, an obsession with a powerful boss, a life lived in the background, but no full story. It's the kind of mystery that keeps fans theorizing decades later, wondering what the writers know that we don't. Time in Springfield has always been one of the strangest, most puzzling things about The Simpsons. The show began back in 1989, and yet somehow, after more than 30 years of episodes, the characters never age. Bart is still 10 years old, Lisa is still 8, and Maggie is still the same pacifier-sucking baby she was when the series began. At first, you might think, well, of course, it's a cartoon. Characters don't need to age. But here's the thing, The Simpsons has always prided itself on reflecting real-world events. Politics, celebrities, even technology in near real time. Every season, Springfield changes with the times. They get smartphones, modern pop culture references, new presidents, but the characters themselves remain frozen. It's as if the town exists inside some kind of time bubble, a place where the outside world moves forward, but Springfield is trapped in its own bizarre loop. And the deeper you look, the stranger it gets. In one episode, Homer remembers the day Bart was born as happening in the late 70s. In another, it's clearly set in the 90s. Then there are flashbacks where Marge and Homer are in high school during the 80s, only for later episodes to rewrite their teenage years into the 90s instead. It's called sliding time, where the past keeps shifting forward so the present can stay the same. But what's really odd is that the show never explains this. It just, as if time itself in Springfield bends and warps however it wants. Think about it. Characters experience Christmas every year, multiple birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, yet no one grows older. Bart never goes to middle school, Lisa never leaves second grade, and Maggie never learns to talk beyond the occasional one-off gag. Even characters like Grandpa Simpson, who's already old when the show begins, stay the same age despite decades passing by. By now, in real-world terms, he should be well over 100, yet he shuffles along like nothing happened. Some fans argue it's just a cartoon logic thing, like how Mickey Mouse has been around for nearly a century but never ages. But The Simpsons isn't like other cartoons. It's always mixed humor with a strange kind of realism. It has episodes about politics, environmental disasters, pop stars, even the Super Bowl, often predicting the future with eerie accuracy. So why would a show so rooted in real life ignore the passage of time completely? Unless it's not ignoring it at all, but hinting at something deeper. There are fan theories out there that suggest Springfield exists in some kind of time paradox, a loop where the town resets itself after every episode. Maybe that's why disasters hit the town constantly, but everything is back to normal the following week. Alien invasions, nuclear meltdowns, giant sinkholes swallowing homes, none of it ever leaves lasting consequences. It's like the entire town is stuck in a perpetual Groundhog Day scenario, reliving different events while staying the same age forever. And here's where it gets even creepier. In several episodes, characters seem oddly aware of this. They break the fourth wall, make jokes about how nothing ever changes, or even comment on how long the show has been running. Lisa, especially, has moments where she seems to realize the world around her doesn't follow normal rules of time. Could it be that some characters actually know they're stuck in this endless loop, unable to escape? This is our channel, and today we're looking at the hidden mysteries of The Simpsons. Time on The Simpsons seems to be both fluid and non-existent. Despite the show being on for over 30 years, the main characters haven't aged a day. Even Homer, who should have retired by now, is still working at the Springfield nuclear power plant. But it's not just Homer who remains the same age. Many characters are stuck in this time warp. For example, in the episode Bart to the Future, we see Lisa as president in the year 2045. This means she was born in the year 2025. Since the show started in 1989, that would mean Lisa is either 66 or 67 years old. Yet she looks exactly the same as she did when she was 8. While this could be explained away as an alternate timeline, there are other instances where characters appear to be stuck in a time loop. We meet Lurleen Lumpkin in the episode Burns, Baby Burns. She appears to be a young woman from the 1960s. However, in the episode My Mother the Car Star, set in the early 1990s, she's still there and she's still the same age. But these aren't the only examples of vanishing characters. Take Bleeding Gums Murphy, for example. This cool jazz musician hangs out with Bart in the episode Little Big Band Man and becomes his idol. He even attends the Springfield Kids rock concert. Yet, in the next episode, Bart Star, he is completely forgotten by Bart. When asked about his favorite musician, Bart replies, "Who's that?" Even more bizarre is the case of Jacques, a character who seemingly comes out of nowhere in the episode French Bob and becomes principal of Springfield Elementary School. He quickly develops a crush on Principal Skinner, but after their relationship ends, Jacques disappears from the show and is never mentioned again. It's like he never even existed. These inconsistencies are confusing and raise questions about the nature of time and reality within the world of The Simpsons. Why do some characters remain eternally young? Why do some characters come and go without explanation? And why does it seem like time doesn't pass for some people in Springfield? These are deep questions that fans have been pondering for years. Some believe that the show's creators simply haven't put much thought into continuity. Others believe that there is a more sinister explanation. Some believe that the town of Springfield exists outside of normal reality and has the power to erase certain people from existence. If this is true, then it would explain why some characters vanish without a trace. It would also explain why time seems to stand still for some people in Springfield. They are forever frozen in a time warp, unable to move forward or backward. But this is just one theory. There are many others. Some fans believe that the town of Springfield is actually a metaphor for life itself. We are all like the characters on The Simpsons, stuck in a never-ending present. No matter how hard we try to move forward, we always seem to end up back where we started. Ultimately, the truth is that no one really knows what's going on in Springfield, but that's part of what makes the show so great. It's full of mystery, and there's always something new to discover. No. 2 Maggie's Secret Intelligence. Maggie Simpson is one of the most beloved characters on The Simpsons. Despite being a baby, she is wise beyond her years and often shows signs of advanced intelligence. One of the most obvious examples of this is her ability to communicate telepathically with other characters, particularly her mother, Marge. In many episodes, Maggie is able to express her thoughts and feelings without saying a word. This suggests that she possesses a level of mental ability that is far beyond that of an ordinary infant. Additionally, Maggie has been shown to be a highly skilled marksman. In the episode Mother Simpson, she is able to shoot and hit Mr. Burns with a crossbow despite having no formal training. She also displays an uncanny ability to always get what she wants. For example, in the episode Gone Maggie, she is able to manipulate her family into doing whatever she wants them to do. Maggie is also shown to be a very good swimmer. In the episode Lisa the Vegetarian, she is able to swim underwater for an extended period of time without any assistance. All of these abilities suggest that Maggie is not your typical baby. Some fans have speculated that she may actually be a highly evolved alien being. After all, she does have a strange glowing orb on her head, which could easily be mistaken for a futuristic piece of technology. While this is obviously a joke, it raises an interesting question. What if Maggie is actually from the future? This would explain her advanced abilities as well as her uncanny knowledge of the human psyche. It could also explain why she seems to be immune to the strange happenings in Springfield. No matter how many times the timeline is reset or how many characters come and go, Maggie is always there. That's because she is from outside of time. She is a being from the future who has traveled back in order to observe or perhaps even study the human race. Of course, this is just one fan theory. There are many others. But ultimately, Maggie's mysterious behavior is what makes her such a fascinating character. She reminds us that even in a world full of talking dogs and magical creatures, there's still plenty that we don't understand. Number 3. Springfield's dark nature. Springfield is a fictional town in the U.S. state of Illinois, and it is the setting of the long-running animated sitcom The Simpsons. Springfield is known for being a typical American town, albeit with a few more than its share of weirdos and miscreants. But what if Springfield isn't just a typical town? What if it's actually a dark and dangerous place? Let's take a look at some of the evidence. For starters, Springfield seems to be cursed when it comes to nuclear power. Both the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant and the nearby Power Plant 7 have had numerous accidents, causing widespread contamination in the area. This has led to a number of health problems for the residents of Springfield, including cancer and birth defects. Springfield is also home to a number of strange and dangerous creatures, including a giant radioactive mole rat, a murderous lawn gnome, and a man-eating bush. These creatures seem to be drawn to the town's nuclear waste, which creates a sort of dark vortex that sucks in all sorts of evil entities. But perhaps the most disturbing thing about Springfield is its residents. The people of Springfield are some of the most ignorant, selfish, and malicious people on the planet. They are quick to blame others for their own mistakes, and they have no problem turning on each other when things go bad. This was proven in the episode Black Widower, when the residents of Springfield turned on Ned Flanders after his wife was killed. They accused him of murder, even though he was innocent just because he was an easy target. Springfield is also home to a number of serial killers, including Hannibal Lecter and Jeffrey Dahmer. And let's not forget about all the missing persons. Over the years, a number of Springfield residents have simply vanished without a trace. This includes characters such as Jacques, Waylon Smithers, and even Homer Simpson himself. What happened to all these people? Did they die? Were they murdered? Or did they simply run away from the insanity of Springfield? These are the kinds of questions that keep fans of The Simpsons up at night. Springfield may seem like a typical American town on the surface, but there is something truly dark and evil lurking beneath its idyllic facade. 4. Hidden clues. There are a lot of details in The Simpsons that people often miss. As anyone who has watched more than a handful of episodes can tell, you, the writers of the show, are incredibly clever, and they love to hide little clues that make the show more enjoyable for those who are paying attention. One of the most famous examples of this is the scene in the episode Last Exit to Springfield in which Homer shoots Mr. Burns. In this scene, Homer is trying to assassinate Mr. Burns in order to get revenge for his fellow workers. As he lines up his shot, viewers can see that the background has changed. What was once a busy street is now an empty parking lot. This detail suggests that the scene is taking place in an alternate timeline, which is later confirmed when we learn that Homer has actually traveled back in time. Another example of a hidden clue can be seen in the episode The City of New York vs. Homer Simpson, when Lisa is leading a group of babies in a protest against the city's new bottle policy. As Lisa marches down the street, viewers can see that she is surrounded by members of the mob, specifically the Lucchese crime family. This detail foreshadows Lisa's future involvement with the mob when she grows up. Overall, The Simpsons is a show that rewards those who pay attention. There are countless hidden clues that make the show more enjoyable for those who catch them. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled the next time you watch an episode. You never know what you might miss. Thanks for watching. What do you think of the theories? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to subscribe and leave a like for more videos like this. One of the most chilling details comes from the Treehouse of Horror episodes, the ones where the writers can bend reality without worrying about canon. In more than one of these, Maggie reveals powers or intelligence far beyond human limits. In one, she has a pacifier that controls aliens. In another, she's revealed to be part of a horrifying twist ending. Now, sure, those episodes are meant to be parodies, but it's interesting how often Maggie ends up at the center of them, as if the writers are teasing us with glimpses of what she's truly capable of. Even outside the Halloween specials, there are moments where other characters hint at Maggie's hidden depths. Lisa, the genius of the family, occasionally seems to sense there's more to Maggie than meets the eye. And think about it, Lisa had to study and work for her intelligence, but Maggie, before she can even speak, plays musical instruments, fires a gun with perfect accuracy stages, jailbreaks from daycare centers, and once even saved Homer's life by taking down a criminal holding him hostage. That's not just baby luck, that's precision. That's intent. Some fans believe Maggie might be the smartest person in Springfield, maybe even smarter than Lisa, but she stays silent because she knows more than she should. Think about what it would mean if Maggie understands everything happening around her but chooses not to talk. She watches Homer's mistakes, Bart's chaos, Marge's stress, Lisa's moral struggles, and she says nothing. Maybe she's learning, analyzing, waiting for the right moment to reveal what she knows. It gives her character an eerie edge, like she's the only one truly aware of how strange Springfield really is. And here's where things get really unsettling. A few fan theories suggest Maggie might even be aware of the time paradox in Springfield, the way nobody ages, the way events reset after every episode. Maybe that's why she doesn't talk, because she knows it wouldn't matter. The world around her will just erase whatever happens and start fresh next week. It would explain the calm, almost knowing expression she often has, like someone who's seen it all before and realizes nothing ever really changes. The more you look back at Maggie's moments across the series, the harder it becomes to write them off as random jokes. The writers could have made her a typical cartoon baby, cute and simple, but instead they keep giving her these moments of brilliance, danger, and mystery. It feels intentional, like they're hinting at a bigger secret behind those wide, innocent eyes and that ever-present pacifier. A secret nobody in Springfield has figured out yet, but one that's been hiding in plain sight all along. If you've watched The Simpsons long enough, you've probably noticed something strange about Springfield itself. The town feels familiar. We all know the Quickie Mart, Moe's Tavern, the nuclear power plant, the Simpson house, and the school, but have you ever paid attention to where these places are actually located? Because if you have, you've probably realized that Springfield's map seems to change every time we see it. One season, the church is right next to the school. In another, it's on the opposite side of town. The mountains behind the nuclear plant appear, disappear, and even switch sides between episodes. Streets bend differently, landmarks vanish, whole neighborhoods seem to pop in and out of existence without any explanation. It's like Springfield refuses to stay still, constantly rewriting itself when nobody's looking at first. You might chalk it up to the writers just moving things around for convenience. After all, The Simpsons isn't supposed to be about geography, it's about the characters. But after decades of watching the town shift like a living puzzle, fans started to wonder if there's something more going on here. Because the changes aren't just small background details, they affect entire storylines. One episode shows the Simpsons living a short walk from Moe's Tavern. The next, they have to drive across town to get there. Sometimes the nuclear power plant is on a hill overlooking everything. Other times it's surrounded by flatlands and highways. Even the Springfield Gorge, one of the most famous locations in the show, seems to change size, depth, and location whenever the story needs it. It's as if the town itself is alive, rearranging its pieces whenever it wants, and then there's the mystery of the state Springfield is actually in. The show has always played this as a running joke, teasing us with clues but never giving a straight answer. Some episodes hint at the Midwest, others at the East Coast, others at desert landscapes like the Southwest. You'll see mountains in the background one moment and oceans the next, as if Springfield is sitting in the middle of every climate zone in America at the same time. No matter how many hints they drop bordering states, area codes, road signs, it never adds up. The geography refuses to make sense, like the town exists in its own little pocket dimension, shifting and twisting to keep outsiders guessing. Even the layout within Springfield makes no logical sense. Characters will leave the power plant, walk past the school, cross a desert, climb a mountain, and end up downtown in the span of a single scene. In one famous episode, Bart gets lost on his way to school and ends up in a jungle in Springfield. The more you think about it, the more it feels like Springfield isn't a normal town at all, but some kind of shifting maze that rearranges itself depending on who's traveling through it. Almost like the town doesn't want you to map it out, doesn't want you to fully understand it, and here's where things get really weird. Some fans believe the changing geography ties directly into the time paradox of Springfield. The way the town never ages or suffers lasting consequences no matter how many disasters hit it. If time doesn't move normally in Springfield, maybe space doesn't either. Maybe that's why the school, the power plant, Moe's Tavern, and even the Simpson house itself sometimes feel like they exist wherever the story needs them, untethered to any real map. One week the gorge is miles away, the next it's practically in their backyard. It's like the town rearranges itself overnight while everyone sleeps. So nobody ever questions it because they wake up thinking things have always been that way. The characters themselves sometimes seem confused by Springfield's layout. Homer will mention living close to the ocean in one episode and complain about being landlocked in another. Marge will talk about the town being small and rural, but then we see sprawling freeways, airports, and giant skyscrapers like it's a massive city. It's as if even the people living there can't agree on what Springfield really is. Almost like they're stuck inside a place that doesn't obey normal rules of reality, but they're too used to it to notice some episodes even break the fourth wall about it. Characters joke about how the town keeps changing, how landmarks appear out of nowhere, or how things seem closer together than they should be. The writers play it for laughs, but when you step back and look at the entire series, it starts feeling less like a running gag and more like a clue. Maybe Springfield isn't supposed to make sense. Maybe it can't. Maybe that's the point. This is a place where time doesn't move forward, where characters never age, where people vanish without explanation. So of course the geography itself would be just as unstable, shifting and changing like the rules of the entire universe are being rewritten every time the camera turns away. Charles Montgomery Burns, the name alone brings to mind the image of a frail, wrinkled billionaire clutching his hands together while whispering excellent as he plots something devious. He's the richest man in Springfield, the owner of the nuclear power plant, and easily one of the most powerful figures in town. We know he's ruthless, we know he's heartless, we know he has been alive far longer than any normal man should be, but what we do not know is just how deep the secrets of Mr. Burns and his family go. Because if you look closely across the decades of The Simpsons, you start to realize that Mr. Burns' life, his wealth, and even his family history are shrouded in a mystery the show never fully explains. For starters, Mr. Burns is impossibly old. The show has hinted at his age multiple times, often suggesting he was alive during major historical events long before Homer and the rest of Springfield were even born. He fought in wars, he knew people from the early 1900s, and in one episode, he even mentions owning a teddy bear from his childhood that looks like it came from the Victorian era. How is this man still alive and running a nuclear empire? The show plays it off as a joke. He's old, frail, practically falling apart, but behind the comedy is the unsettling question of why he's lived so long and what he might have done to achieve it. Some fans even joke that he made deals with dark forces or used experiments at the nuclear plant to extend his life, but the show never gives a real answer. Then there's the matter of his family. We almost never hear about the Burns family tree, which is strange for a man so obsessed with legacy, wealth, and power. We get a few glimpses, a long-lost son named Larry, who appears in one episode and then vanishes from the series entirely. A hint here and there about siblings or parents, but nothing concrete. It's as if Mr. Burns' entire bloodline was erased from history, leaving him as the sole survivor of some forgotten dynasty. Why is there no Burns estate, no distant cousins, no powerful relatives showing up to claim his empire? For a man with limitless resources, it's odd how isolated he seems. Like his family either cut ties with him or disappeared under circumstances nobody talks about. And speaking of his empire, where exactly did his wealth come from? Yes, we know he owns the nuclear power plant now, but what about before that? The Simpsons occasionally drops hints that Mr. Burns has owned mines, factories, even entire industries in the past, yet we never see the full story of how he built or inherited this empire. Did he rise to power through business skill, or was there something darker involved? The show loves to parody history, so we see him connected to wars, political scandals, and robber baron-era tycoons, but the pieces never form a full picture. It's almost as if the writers want Mr. Burns to feel untouchable, a man whose past is too big and too mysterious to fully uncover. One of the strangest details is the recurring theme of secret experiments at the nuclear power plant. We've seen everything from glowing three-eyed fish to mutant animals lurking around Springfield Lake, yet Mr. Burns never faces any consequences. It makes you wonder what else is happening behind those locked doors at the plant. Are the strange accidents and mutant creatures just side effects of poor safety, or is Mr. Burns covering up something much larger? Some fans even speculate that the plant itself hides secret labs where experiments go far beyond nuclear energy, maybe even into genetic testing or life extension, which could explain not only the mutations around town but also why Mr. Burns himself seems to defy time. And let's not forget his bizarre medical history. Over the years, doctors on the show have revealed that Mr. Burns suffers from every disease known to man, yet somehow he's still alive. In one famous episode, his doctor explains that all his illnesses exist in perfect balance, keeping him alive because none can overpower the others. It's played for laughs, but the idea that his body is this bizarre medical mystery adds to the sense that Mr. Burns isn't just an ordinary old man. He's something stranger, something science itself can't fully explain. Even his relationship with other powerful figures in Springfield raises questions. Politicians, celebrities, the rich elite Mr. Burns seems to know them all, often with hints that their connections go back decades. How much influence does he really have beyond the borders of Springfield? How many secrets about the town, the government, maybe even the world, are locked away in his mansion, hidden behind those dusty portraits and endless hallways where nobody but Smithers ever goes? The more you look at Mr. Burns across the history of the show, the more you realize how little we actually know about him. He appears in hundreds of episodes, yet his past, his family, his fortune, and even his survival defy explanation, leaving fans to wonder just how many dark secrets he is keeping behind those iron gates of the Burns estate. Secrets the people of Springfield will never fully uncover. Springfield has always looked like a simple cartoon town, but the more you peel back the layers, the more it feels like something much stranger is going on. We've uncovered secrets hiding in plain sight: Smithers' mysterious loyalty and family tragedy, a time loop that traps everyone in the same moment forever, characters who vanish without a trace, a baby who might be the smartest person in town, a map that redraws itself whenever it wants, and a billionaire whose past is darker and more secretive than anyone realizes. When you put it all together, Springfield stops feeling like just a setting for jokes and starts feeling like a puzzle the writers never intended for us to fully solve. Maybe it's all coincidence. Maybe it's just decades of shifting stories and running gags. Or maybe buried beneath the laughs and one-liners, The Simpsons has been hinting at something bigger this whole time, a town caught in its own mysterious universe, where time, space, and even reality itself refuse to play by the rules. And after all these years, that might be the biggest mystery of all?